Playing the Hunter Valley's greatest hits on 981 2NM. This is Hunter Valley Today with Darren Cutrupi. On Monday afternoon, 5 o'clock, I went along to the Upper Hunter Shire Council meeting. And I must admit, I'm not surprised by what I saw happen right near the end of the meeting, because I'd seen it before and recognised it as something that seemed really odd. And what I'm talking about is the treatment of Councillor Elizabeth Flaherty, who I think it's fair to say has made a bit of a name for herself as being a bit of a rebel, because she won't be silenced by the council as much as they try to speak out about issues and where she thinks things aren't right, which isn't that the definition of why you elect people into public office, whether it be a council or higher levels for that matter. In fact, not silence, just censured is the headline of her article on scone.com.au, which you can read on that site now, as well as a whole lot of background, which we won't have time to go into this morning on the program. But let's find out a little bit more and, raise some of these issues that apparently are, sins that you should be punished for. And Elizabeth Flaherty joins me. Councillor, good morning.
Good morning, Darren. How are you?
Very good, thanks. So you are still a councillor at this stage?
Oh, I am.
So how many of these code of conduct breaches have been levelled against you now? The number is going up, isn't it?
Yeah, it's climbing, and I really don't know anymore. I've lost count. Look, when I'm interviewed for these code of conduct, we often have to spend the first few minutes trying to work out which code of conduct it pertains to. So I'm fairly used to them coming in, Darren.
Oh, well, luckily the General Manager put serial numbers against them all, so they should be able to sort that out fairly easily, at least the interviewers anyway. So, because there's been so many, are you even the remotest of surprised or shocked at what went down on Monday night?
No, look, there seems to be a very distinct pattern of behaviour that if I talk to you or publish anything or, say anything publicly, then I get a code of conduct. So it's become quite routine.
So, but if other councillors go on Facebook and say something, they're not censured. So how does that work?
I've no idea how it works. And look, I mean, they have a code of conduct, right? Which is just, let's be clear, it's not the law. So in Australian law, I can speak out, I can voice dissent, I can have public debate, particularly as an elected representative in a democratic country. Whereas they have a code of conduct that specifically says councillors may not debate issues in the media. Now, I mean, I don't know what law they think that pertains to. It must be a Chinese law, not an Australian law. So, I don't agree with a lot of the things in their code of conduct, and no, I won't adhere to it. So, yes, I'll probably keep getting codes of conduct levelled at me.
I recall as a younger journalist, and you probably do yourself as well, Councillor Flaherty, that there was a time when any councillor could speak on any issue they felt like. Then all of a sudden there were journalists like ourselves who started asking questions that they didn't want to answer, and some PR smarty pants decided to come up with, we'll just ban it and say they can't speak.
Well, they actually can't do that under Australian law, and I certainly won't be adhering to their code of conduct to do that. If they like that style of code of conduct and media participation, well, then maybe they should move to China. But as long as I'm in Australia and the law supports free speech and our democratic principles, well, then I will keep speaking out.
So we don't have time to go into all the nitty-gritty of the charges. I did play back in our Hunter Valley local news yesterday morning various audio excerpts, unedited, of the General Manager, Greg McDonald, reading out the alleged breaches that you had made. But to summarise, they're procedural against so-called procedural breaches and for speaking out, essentially. Would that be correct?
Yeah, look, it's hard to make head nor tail of it. I mean, for example, they've said that I have breached confidential information. I've never breached confidential information, and they've never shown any evidence of me breaching confidential information. What I have done is spoken about matters that were discussed in closed council. Now, there's a really important point to remember about that, Darren. What information is confidential is determined under the law. There are very strict requirements of what can be confidential. Otherwise, everything has to be on the public record. Now, if we take something into closed council, it must meet the test of confidentiality. We cannot take things in there just to keep them out of the public domain so the public don't know about it. And so they've got a code of conduct now that says that anything discussed in closed council cannot be discussed outside closed council. Again, I think that contravenes information law, and I will speak about things that are not confidential, be it from a closed council session or an open council session. But I have never breached confidentiality, and that's an important distinction.
But what they were saying on that particular point was about you asking a question as opposed to about something that wasn't confidential, that ultimately is public, about the childcare centre, like it wasn't trade secrets or anything.
Correct. So I asked to receive the financials of the Early Learning Centre. The financials are not confidential. Me asking for it is not confidential. It doesn't meet the test under the law. So can I say it? Absolutely I can. I'm supported in doing that under law. Am I supported in doing that under their code of conduct? No. But I'm going to err on the side of the law rather than their code of conduct. Thank you.
So there's two laws. There's the law, and then there's Morris's law.
Well, it seems that way. And there was an open letter that was signed by all the other councillors, except me, for good reason, that said that the code of conduct is based on legislation and therefore it is law. But reality check, boys and girls, it's called the Upper Hunter Shire Council, not the Upper Hunter Shire Parliament. You are not passing laws. Your code of conduct is not law.
And of course, you're referring to a letter that the Deputy Mayor published on social media, which is a breach of the very same code of conduct, is it not?
Well, it could definitely be seen that way. It was definitely debate. So I'm not sure why they didn't get codes of conduct, but I think we could all hazard a guess.
This is Hunter Valley Today with Darren Cutrupi. I'm talking with Upper Hunter Shire Councillor Elizabeth Flaherty, who has been censured and referred to the Office of Local Government again. We'll take a break and be back shortly. 981 2AM Hunter Valley Today with Darren Cutrupi, continuing our catch-up with the very troubled Upper Hunter Shire councillor, controversial councillor maybe, Elizabeth Flaherty, who has been censured yet again for a couple of bouts, and also referred to the Office of Local Government for further action over so-called breaches of Upper Hunter Shire Council's Code of Practice. So the other thing I wanted to raise with you, Councillor Flaherty, this morning is about the the issue that goes back a couple of months when it first came to my attention, when the meeting seemed to keep coming back to you all the time, is about you asking to appear via video link, and that was rejected by the Mayor, and there were reasons about you didn't contact the right person, etc., etc. But is it right for a council to determine whether you can, operate via your democratic right as an elected councillor to attend a meeting? Now, whether it's via, a grapevine or via a telephone or sitting in person in the council, should it matter?
I don't think it should. I mean, the law does not preclude elected representatives from participating in elected meetings that they were democratically put in there to do. The law does not prevent us from attending via video or audio link or in person, but Upper Hunter Shire Council's Code of Conduct does. So basically, if you want to appear via video link, so like my car broke down in Sydney, or when Councillor Abbott was needing to spend time with her family, you have to go through a process where they decide if you're allowed to attend. Yes, the mayor said quite disgustingly that Sue Abbott's reason for spending time with family was not a good enough one and voted against her attending. And then, I was not allowed to attend when my car broke down. I think that our democratic principles and attending these democratic meetings should far outweigh a council's code of conduct to decide which councillors may or may not be allowed to attend via video link. We're elected by the people to attend those meetings. They don't get to decide via a vote each night at each meeting who they allow to come in. I don't think that that should be supported under the code of conduct. I don't think it's in the spirit of the law and democracy.
Okay, so what's going to happen with this referral to the Office of Local Government? Are they going to, stand you down or sack you or something?
Oh, look, who knows, Darren? The Office of Local Government can do what they see fit. And I'm quite prepared to be stood down because I will not be silenced. And I will continue to speak out, and that probably means I'm going to be breaching the code by debating in the media and speaking out and saying things they don't like. But I'm supported to do so under law, and I'll continue to do that. So there is the option that once you have a certain number of codes of conduct, they can stand you down. I believe that may be the end game of some people. And that's fine because I'm quite prepared for that to happen because then I have recourse under the law and processes that I can avail myself of, and I will avail myself of those processes.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens next. I suppose keep your head up or get ready to duck or something. I don't know what the right advice is. And I suppose to get more detail of it, you can read the article and background information that Councillor Flaherty has published on scone.com.au this morning. And you might notice a hint of cynicism in my voice in some of the comments and the questioning. That really comes about by the Mayor and General Manager refusing to come on this program and talk about these issues, and also the fact that they've claimed former stories that I've reported are wrong, but won't, again, tell me how they're wrong. So I've also examined a lot of these issues that are being levelled at Councillor Flaherty myself in quite a lot of detail, and I have to say there certainly are questions that I should be asking, otherwise I wouldn't be doing my job as a journalist. So I thought I just need to make that clear this morning. Sorry for keeping you there. Councillor Flaherty, thanks very much for your time.
Thanks very much, Darren. I appreciate it.
That's Councillor Elizabeth Flaherty from Upper Hunter Shire Council. This is Hunter Valley Today on 981 2NM.